Hello and welcome everyone to Mondays in Exandria, Wanderlust in Wildemount. We are very excited for today because it's gonna be a party. So yeah, we're just gonna get started. Producer Trav, who plays Lamont Quinlan, is running late. He will be here. He's just not here yet. So you'll see his glorious mug pop up at some point in time. We don't know when. We'll all find out together. I will be playing Wendell Eustace Abernathy, Lucius Throckwaddle Hossenpfeffer IV of the Havisham Hossenpfeffers. Nobleman, philanthropist, warlock extraordinaire, and now aspiring author. The titles will just continue to grow longer the longer he's played, so it's going to be fine. It's going to be fun. Yeah, that's him. He's bless him. He needs help, but he's not gonna get it. Someone who's doing just fine and doesn't need any help in game whatsoever would be D20 coup de grace. Harlan Flipcloak, how are you?
Yes, that's me. I'll be playing Harlan Flipcloak today. He's a hobgoblin wizard, and he's an inventor, and he's now an unwilling businessman. And I will hope that turns out well for him.
Good luck, buddy. Unwilling businessman does not sound, better unwilling than unwitting. So, there's that. Speaking of unwitting, Igor, Shiny Pilot.
I'm very witty. Thank you very much. Yep. Shiny Pilot playing Igor. He's a hunchback. He's a butler to Wendell, and he's just a lovable soul. So I'm excited to start this off with our party, I believe. So let's do this.
Very much so. So, someone who's excited, even though she might be very tired, Nuggetosaurus.
Hi, that's me. That's an accurate description. I'm exhausted, but excited. So, if my face doesn't show it, I apologize. I'm Nuggetosaurus. I'm playing Hal, the shifter fighter / paladin, who kind of had it out with Lamont a little bit last week, and has not gotten the courage to deal with that situation yet. So we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens indeed. There's a Trav, Lamont Quinlan, he who strikes in the dark, stalks in the night. There's, he'll tell us the title, I'm sure, when he appears. And of course, we have our splendiferous dungeon master, Deception Check.
Wow, can you spell that word? I know I couldn't spell it properly, but I'll take it. Splendiferous.
I could spell it.
Really?
Easy, yeah.
Correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, correct enough.
Well, enough that spell check will fix it. So yeah, I'm at Deception Check. I'm the DM here for Mondays in Exandria, Wanderlust in Wildemount. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. We've got a little bit of a masquerade, and we actually have what looks to be a Lamont Quinlan.
Oh my gosh.
Popping in right now.
Just as I foresaw.
Perhaps we should allow him to introduce himself as I tell us what happened last week.
Yes.
Everyone have finally arrived in Port Damali. At their arrival, Hal, Nezrin, Wendell, and Igor found out they were invited to a masquerade ball in 2 nights. And that seemed to be a little strange because everyone was named in the invitation that was sent to Nezrin, and only Nezrin and Hal had been residents of Port Damali for some time. After getting over that little bit of surprise, they decided to explore a bit and headed over to the Crescent Acorn, which is the location of a tavern / inn where they will insert a key to connect to the Grayskull Shadow Inn, their base in Iman. And that will allow them to communicate, to travel back and forth quickly between the 2 locations if necessary. They negotiated a deal and everything seemed to be fine until a strange Zalazo guard was hanging out at the bar. Come to find out it was Lamont Quinlan pretending to be a Zalazo guard and annoying everyone in the room. Hal and Lamont had it out for each other and said a few things here and there. Hal stormed away without causing any bloodshed, which is strange, but an improvement over Hal's previous iterations. And Lamont just stood at the bar drinking a milk, I think, or a coffee or something along those lines. Speaking of Lamont Quinlan, he just arrived. I'm going to tell you what Harlan did and then Lamont will introduce himself for the evening. Harlan Flipcloak was being held kind of in house arrest at the luxurious manor of a Mr. Nouveau, the Merchants Guild leader of Port de Mali. He also met with a few people who are interested in buying the plans for his airship. Harlan is a unwitting partner, or at least an unwilling partner, who is afraid of business and other people for the most part, as he likes to be alone and likes to play with his own toys, not share them. So that leaves us where we're going to be today. But before we get to that, let's talk with Mr. Lamont Quinlan. Hey, Producer Trav, welcome.
Welcome. Well, dance, magic, dance, everybody. How's it going? Producer Trav here. Got Bowie stuck in my head, and I'm having a blast playing the Exandria program here on the Laugh Love Lindy Network. And I'm playing Lamont Quinlan, who, of course, is a madcap loner, Kalishtar, former artificer, now a rogue. And he's a mess. That's all I got.
All right. That's great. Yeah, he really is a mess, but he's not as much of a mess as he was last year. So we'll see how that goes. If Hal gets a hold of him, he might just be back to being a huge mess. So several days have, about a day has passed since we last saw our characters. They were all preparing for the masquerade ball at the house of Mr. Nouveau in the crescents atop the hill in Port de Mali. We'll go around and find out what everyone did to prepare, starting with our most wealthy inhabitant and the lord and noble of the group, Wendell Eustace Abernethy Lucius Throckwaddle Hassenpfeffer IV of the Habsburg Hassenpfeffers. What did you do to prepare for the masquerade ball, and what is your costume for this evening?
Well, it's also fitting because his initials spell wealth, so I appreciated that pun on many levels. So he has, first of all, he's kept in contact with Harlan, not so much as to pester him, but just to make sure if he needed anything, he could bring it either with them to the masquerade or have it sent, because that would not be so unusual as to have a delivery sent to, a merchant, prince, noble person's house.
Especially not right now.
Especially during the time of the party getting ready. So, he would have acquired and sent over anything Harlan needed or requested, and also, or would have brought it with him. He has spoken also a bit with Nezrin, and probably, I imagine Nezrin has a tailor here in Port de Mali, and would have found out what the current fashions are and would be for such an event, because he would not want to stick out like a sore thumb. And so he would kind of, the cuts of the jackets or the pants or whatever, he would have gone for more of a Wildemount style rather than, Amon. And it's definitely in his house colors, though. So the Merlot-colored kind of burgundy jacket, some dark navy blue accents, and while he's normally goes for gold, he doesn't want to seem too ostentatious, so he would be wearing silver accents with this ensemble, because, better to be a little understated when making a debut than to, not be able to measure up. So, right. Very classy, very, trim, and his mask would just be something simple, yet powerful statement. Like, this guy is radiating understated power, and this...
So what would that be?
Oh, it's just nothing too frilly, but very simple, clean lines. Probably just
nothing too extravagant, just like
nothing too extravagant. Okay. And if you would notice, just ever so slightly in the sheen, when you have like the matte black and then like the glossy black, there'd be glossy tentacles, like that of an aboleth, reaching around the back of his mask.
Very nice, very nice. Well, leaving Wendell's preparations, of course, you can't go anywhere with Wendell without having an Igor far close behind. So, Igor, how did you prepare over the last 24 hours or so?
Well, Igor was told he's going to a mask ball, so he gets a basic mask. that's very plain. Just a eye cover one, like I was going to say Phantom of the Opera style, but that's not quite
Like
right. But
Zorro.
just Zorro. Thank you. A Zorro cover. The one thing he does is he wears his cleanest and nicest butler uniform, but he adds to it a really wide neck collar. What is that called again?
Neck ruff,
Lindy?
like the Victorian neck ruffs.
Like a Victorian
like Sir
neck
Francis Drake.
ruff. Like he's got
And
a
way too
plate.
big.
Like his head is on a plate. It's massive.
And because
since
of the
he's
hunchback.
And because
he's
the
a
hunch
hunchback,
it's
one
sideways.
side is cockeyed, it's a little sideways, and that's how he looks.
Okay. Okay. Did you do anything else during the day prior?
For preparation, he would just make sure that Wendell has everything he needs. Make sure that he understands his best behavior or what is expected of him, and I think he would just have a little bit of Igor time, and that would include probably eating food, visiting some local people, and getting the flavor of the land, and that's about it. So.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm actually most interested in how Mr. Lamont Quinlan prepared for the ball, being the only one on the outside of the walls of Mr. Nouveau's manor who has seen the inside and some of the preparations, who has also been impersonating the Zalazo for at least the last day, I think. How did you prepare, and what is your costume for the evening?
Well, in his own mind, he's effectively disappeared into the darkness under the guise of this military person who he then abandons for now. And we're going to have to make a statement at the ball that the terror is here in Port Denali, Tamale. And so somewhere between Francis Bacon and H.R. Giger is Lamont's hellish Lady Gaga at the Grammys meets, a boss in Demon Souls. It needs to have an outrageous cloak. It needs to have a mask that is a mask, but is also like somewhere between a hideous nightmare in the bark of a tree and an ornate, dental or optical testing piece of equipment, some sort of biomechanical nightmare. Gala Ball Lamont, by the way, is a variant action figure that McFarlane Toys is handling for us, and it's going to be there's going to be a couple variants, and I think it's all black and white.
Looking forward to the prototype on that one.
Yes, I think it's a $50 like ultimate kind of a thing. I don't think it's going to be like a $29.99 because
that's
the
fair.
cape is so big, and the mask is so ornate. There's a lot of paint. So
is it sort of like is your cape sort of like Spawn-esque type of cape? Okay.
Yes. And he needs to pick like the right moment to arrive, and it's like some sort of bizarre Bjork video when he shows up with with Spawn in it. I think we all get where I'm going with this.
I see. At this point, I'm wondering if that will be the strangest thing at the ball. It may not be.
It may not be, but we're going to try it. And so yes, and he needs to, I don't know when the right moment to arrive is. Maybe I'll creep nearby and gauge the
Okay, I'm sure you'll pick up an opportune moment.
I'm sure I will, Frank. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hal, speaking of things not prepared for a ball most of the time.
Most of the time. However, Nezrin and I are together, so I feel like she would force me to be prepared for this. So Hal is not one for dresses, so she absolutely does not wear a dress. She does, however, get like a very nice tailored suit in like this rich emerald green with black like line, like how like when you have a coat and it's got the lapels, is that what they're called? I don't know, but yes. they have like a line on them, like all that tailoring is black, and like there's a black line around the cuff kind of thing. And then her shirt is this like cream colored deep V. I just have a thing for deep V, like flowy shirts. So she's got this deep V flowy shirt kind of thing. And of course she wears the knee-high black combat boots because she's not anywhere without those. And she's the person that when they stop you and check you for weapons, she pulls out like 1,000,000 and you have no idea where they come from. So.
Okay. Now, are these knee highs on the outside of the suit or underneath the pants legs of the suit?
I feel like she could get them tailored, the suit tailored so it looks good on the inside. So like the shoes are on the outside and the pants are on the inside. If that makes sense.
Okay.
It looks nice. It doesn't look weird.
What is your mask?
So it's a black wolf mask because why the fuck not?
Okay. Not really straying too far from the source material there, are you?
Nope.
Okay.
She is one dimension.
and outside of that single dimension, how is Nezrin going? Like, what's she dressed like?
I don't know. I didn't think about Nezrin.
Okay.
I feel like for this kind of ball, she would not wear her house colors, so it wouldn't be black or red.
Mm-hmm.
But it would definitely be the highest fashion of Port Damali.
Okay. Well, that was brought up earlier with Wendell talking about the high fashion of Port Damali. Port Damali is a melting pot town.
Mm-hmm.
The architecture and the clothing you see on the street all are representative of the individual cultures that are part and parcel to Port Damali itself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say the high fashion, you almost have to pick, is it Marquesian?
With that,
is it
I would imagine
Tal'Dorian?
that it changes on a weekly basis. Like, ruffles are in this week. The next week, it's,
Right, and a lot of times it'll be like the
Yeah.
Marquesians come up with something that's really special, and then you see that the the people from
Or
Rexentrum are trying to
blended,
incorporate
like
it
some
maybe,
weird
but putting it in
fusion.
the same mute colors they always wear.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's something along those lines.
Yeah, I feel like Nezrin would have it's the highest fashion, but it's very classic.
Okay,
So whatever, like a classic Port Damali, it's always in fashion, always. It's that one thing, that like never really fades.
Like a little black dress kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
okay, so just a classic sort of formal gown of some sort that looks right with whatever mask it is she's wearing, which I imagine will probably be somewhat of a stylized wolf itself to look to match you.
Yeah, I think that would be
The
a
one
good-
concession she makes for you in your obsessions.
I'm like, you gotta be with me on this, babe. Like, just come on.
Okay. Now, the only other person we haven't spoke to yet is the most uncomfortable one of the group in social settings. That's Harlan Flipcloak, who is currently at Ground Central within the walls of Novu Manor.
See, the thing is, he's way too busy to be preparing for something like this.
Of course.
So,
But you do have the entire staff of Manor Nouveau
And
to
Wendell.
support you.
so what I picture is I'm going in a copy of what Nouveau's wearing, except it's a bit undersized for me. So I look like a kid that just hit a growth spurt.
Okay. So you're wearing the golds and purples, the robes of Nouveau, and while his are flowing and scrubbing the ground a bit, yours are about 4 inches above the ground and a little tight in the shoulders. Okay. A little too tight across the chest.
Just tight everywhere.
They don't flow as well.
Bad.
Okay. And what is your mask?
It's like a raccoon. Raccoon.
Okay, the little burglar's mask.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you still wearing your toupee?
Oh yeah. Except
Is
I
it styled for the occasion?
Yeah.
You frost the tips, is that what you said?
Frost the tips of the toupee.
Okay. That's great. I love this. All right. So that gives me an idea of how you guys prepared. So the night is arriving. You know that we are in Port Damali and in the calendar of Exandria, Undalar, which is the month we're in right now, is the month where summer begins. And summer begins on the 26th. So you're only 13 days from the longest day of the year and the festival of Zenith. So days are long at this point, and so it's a while before sunset. And the party is not supposed to start until sundown. So, Harlan, you're there earliest. Now, do you wait in your room and keep working, or are you there ready to receive guests?
No, working.
Working.
It's important that I get these blueprints done before
Excellent.
they find out too much.
Okay, so as you're working, as the day progresses and the night progresses, you start hearing more and more noise coming from the direction where the grand ballroom is.
Wish these people would just be quiet. I can't concentrate.
So every 30 minutes or so, one of the house staff comes and knocks on your door to see if you're ready to present yourself to the lord of the house and his guests.
Just another few moments, and I'm like half getting ready, half going back to work. Ready, going back to work.
All right, then we'll come back to you since you're going to be a late arrival, much like Lamont. Not wanting to be a late arrival is Nezrin Wasserin, who is the host of our group in her manor, and also the love of her life, Hal. And so you all are prepared and are arriving in the Wasserin carriage at the front gate of the Nouveau Manor. As you arrive and step out of the coach, you see large gilded gates swung open and a gravel walkway combed down clearly and smoothly, so it's not in a rut. Nothing is driven in here since these gates have been opened today. The grounds are wide and spacious with manicured lawns and interesting designs of the foliage and the plants and the shrubs around. You see images of exotic birds, satyrs dancing and whatnot, few fountains off in the distance, and a large one in front of the manor itself, which seems to be a rather large, low building. As you make your way to the front gate, you see a staff of about 10 servants bow and entreat you to enter.
Shall we?
Yes, I do think so. I mean, that's why we came. You all ready to be? Are you going to be on your best behavior before we go in? Hal?
What?
I asked you to leave the cat at home. Why did you bring the cat?
They just follow me, okay? I don't know what to tell you. I didn't think cats like dogs, but here we are.
That's fine. That's fine. Just please, no bloodshed this evening.
Hey, last party we went to, there was no bloodshed from me. Thank you very much.
Right.
The other person, yeah, maybe not. Fine, best behavior.
Before we go in, remember, the Clockwork Council is rife throughout this city.
Oh, yeah.
And this is probably going to be one of their meet and greets. It's a public event. Everyone is invited. They will be here. So that's what we want. We want to talk to them. We want to meet them. Myself and Hal have already been ingratiated in their presence. So let's go in, let's enjoy ourselves, and let's try to make the best of this, right?
Shall be pleasant and be present.
I ask nothing more.
And
Igor,
we will not start any bloodshed.
That's
we might
fine.
finish it.
Igor, you look a little tense.
Feel a little funky wearing this here outfit. Not gonna lie.
You look nice. You look very nice, Igor.
Thank you. I hope so.
I'm sure you'll fit in very well. And remember, you're a guest this evening and not the servant of Wendell.
Does that mean there's any restrictions on eating of the ores?
Don't eat until you make yourself sick. You're not allowed to get sick from eating too much food or drink.
Nezrin leans over and whispers in your ear, "If you want to, it's okay."
I'm conflicted.
You
She
can
takes...
eat up to
go
the
ahead.
point of being sick. But don't get sick There was that one time in the middle of the ballroom floor. Just that.
Don't
Let that
worry,
happen.
Master. I shall not repeat. Like
Right.
last time. Toothy grin.
Nezrin takes Hal's arm, and they walk first up to the grand doors. These are there's a gate outside that's also gilded, and you see a large scripted inn in a circle on both sides. It opens first, and then these large mahogany wood stained doors slide open. Very well balanced as a single servant on each side just basically touched them and opened them up. And you see a wide open terrazzo sparkling floor with large columns on the side. And you see ahead of you what looks to be the entrance of the grand ballroom. Two servants come up beside you. Who may I ask is attending? Looking at Nezrin. I am Nezrin Wasserin, and this is my companion Howl, and my friends Wendell, Eustace, Abernathy, Lucius, Throckwaddle, Hassan Fefa, and Igor. They kind of check a roll. The parchment opens up and kind of falls to the ground and sliding through it. It's like, oh, we have you here. Yes. Oh, you are invited on behalf of the Marquise. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, can't have too many friends with the Marquis, can we? Yes. Well, I hope you have a wonderful time. Please see yourself forward right through there. That's the grand ballroom. Please understand that there will be 4 parlors on each side, as well as the music presented in the grand ballroom. I hear there's jugglers, performers, and acrobats this evening, so it should be a grand time for all. You all look wonderful. I love your masks, and kind of looks over at Igor, kind of like, yes, you all look wonderful.
Dinner plate.
Yeah.
Full on dinner plate. Head on a plate.
I mean, it's not the strangest thing I've seen this evening. You can't wait till you see all the strange dress tonight. It's wonderful. Everyone's here. So please enjoy yourself very much. And Ezra just sort of nods and kind of starts leading Hal towards the grand ballroom. Do you guys go ahead and walk straight in?
Yes. I do keep an eye out for the acrobats, though.
Okay.
Sound entertaining.
I
Okay.
go wherever Nezrin leads me. So
All right. So as you start walking towards the grand ballroom, Lamont Quinlan, he who strikes fear in the dark and night, and Night Stalker, yes. It is night has fallen, and you have seen the carriage of your friends arrive at the front gate, and they have now walked to the front gate and gone through. What is this now your opportune moment, or are you waiting for a more opportune moment?
I'm gonna let them go in,
Okay.
and I'm on a nearby rooftop.
Okay.
And
There aren't very many nearby rooftops, but you found the top of a temple. In the crescents, it's a very wide open space. The buildings are large and separated by gardens, wide boulevards, and temples. But you found a temple to a god you don't know is pretty close. That you can get a good visual view.
that's even better that I'm like clinging to the spire of a temple nearby. That's much more rock and roll. And I'm just here to tell you, I don't know how to put too fine a point on it. It's like a 9 Inch Nails video. You know, he descends from the temple spire. He, removes his hood to reveal this ornate mask and this, billowing, hyper real super gown, and walks up to the front gate. Do I produce an invitation? Do I have one?
Yeah, you have not been given an invitation. Last you knew, you were supposed to have actually already been inside the walls.
All right. Well, we're gonna go in legit. I know
Okay.
I'm invited.
You walk up the stairs to the front gate where the 10 servants are standing at attention. You notice that they are still standing as they should, but their eyes are watching you. You are a point of interest to them. You walk up to the door and they begin opening them for you. And there is a seneschal or a head servant who looks taken aback a bit when he sees your accoutrement. So, yes, Are you on the list, sir or madam?
The list.
Yes. Yes, you must be invited. What is the name?
The terror, what strikes in the dark.
Okay, I'm pretty confident I haven't seen that name on the list. Could it be under a different name?
Like, looks left, looks right.
There are people forming in a line kind of behind you, and you hear the silent whispers.
I say psychically. I say telepathically. It's Lamont Quinlan. It's just looking
and you see him kind of like tilt his head a bit. Looks at the list like, oh, sir must have been on the grounds. I wasn't aware you were outside of the manor. That's perfectly fine. Please help yourself. You remember where your room is, down the hall to the right. The grand ballroom is ahead. There's a great number of people already arrived and more coming in all the time. I hope you enjoy yourself, sir.
And he says nothing as he turns and strides in, like the mask of the Red Death, glides into the hallway, his cloak curling against the boards of the floor and the walls. I'm taking over your game, I think.
No, it's perfectly fine. I like the image you're painting here. Although there are no floorboards, it's a terrazzo floor. But,
Damn it.
But I'm sure they can curl up against the columns.
Get the idea.
Curling on the columns and around you. I mean, it has a life of its own. I imagine this is a cloak of billowing, but just designed differently.
And I want it over edited. I want a Chris Cunningham video.
It's perfectly fine.
I want a Aphex Twin video as I make my grand Gaga-esque entrance to the ballroom.
Yes. As you step through, only moments after the rest of your friends, well, companions, I guess, and there literally is like a missed note at the end of the hall, because at the end of the grand ballroom is a small raised platform where there is a 7-member performance group playing music. You see lutes, you see larger musical instruments of different types. They're playing a very simple, like comfortable music for people to dance with and to talk over. Nothing all that extravagant, just something simple, but this is more to be seen, not to perform. And the performers kind of miss a note when you walk in, and it causes everyone to kind of turn, and you are given the attention that you wish. But we'll turn back to Hal, Nezrin, Wendell, and Igor. You hear a murmur in the crowd as you've walked in. Music is playing. You see on your left 2 doors going to 2 different parlors. On your right, 2 other doors walking into, like, open archway doors into other parlors. You get glimpses of people standing around and performers performing, the band ahead of you playing their music. And then there is the screech as the note is missed and everyone's heads are turning back towards the door. What do you guys do?
Has the Marquise arrived? Is that what just happened? And Hal will turn and look.
And you see the image of
sighs.
Lamont's description. I can't even do it justice, I'm sure. The intricate evil that has been inscribed across his mask is both frightening and intriguing. The layers of clothing along his robe are deep and they look ragged but well made. The cloak is literally gripping him in parts and flowing around to grab other people as he walks by.
Yeah, that's either Lamont or a lich.
I bet it's on Lamont.
Probably.
Monster. Who
Honestly,
is that?
I'd take the lich.
It's Lamont, Igor.
That's Lamont.
I know what a transformation, right?
That's pretty daring on that transformation, Monster.
It's a daring transformation.
Maybe you should try doing an outfit like that.
No, Igor, I have class.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in their right mind would try anything like that.
I will say, it is an entrance, though.
It, yeah, definitely turned faces.
But is it the
Heads.
right intention?
Heads.
Igor's
Probably not.
eyeballs keep wandering from the conversation to the food table. And
There
it's
isn't
gonna-
actually a table.
There isn't a table.
Servants are maneuvering through the crowd with plates full of different types of foods.
Igor, as a servant, will have a servant serve him.
Yes. There are trays full of drinks, trays full of hors d'oeuvres.
If a tray comes by near Igor, he will tap the butler and gently grab the entire tray and thank you, and he'll start munching on it, and he'll give.
They will nod and walk on. Every minute there is a different server within a reach of you, just moving through the crowd
Igor
quietly.
keeps the first platter he grabbed, and if more people come by, he'll be grabbing stuff and putting it onto the platter. A drink, another dish, the savory things, the sweet things. He's gonna have a little mound appearing as he's munching.
Lamont, you've caught eyes with the rest of your companions who you tried to hide from the day before while sitting right in front of them. They're looking at you, you're looking at them, and everyone else is looking at you as well.
I hope he doesn't come over here. That would just draw so much attention
I would not.
that we don't want.
Just expect him to be walking this way.
God
Just
damn it.
prepare yourself for it now, and if it doesn't happen, what a relief.
I hope Bahamut smites me.
Would you like to try this cheese cracker dish? Igor's gonna be trying to shove a cheese cracker dish in your mouth, Wendell.
No,
Here, try
Igor,
this
I
dish.
can feed myself. Thank you.
This is so
It takes a different hors d'oeuvre off of a nearby tray.
Lamont, do you go over to
I move slowly through the crowd. I allow them to admire my countenance, and as they admire my countenance in a brilliantly edited sequence that costs a lot of money, I completely ghost my compatriots and make my way towards the bandstand, where I turn and then approach the band and then just proceed to glare at them and glower at them or towards them.
Okay. The band is made up of different age groups and different races of performers. There's a few elves, a dwarf, a couple humans, and a halfling playing different instruments. And while they've regained their composure, they're having difficulty not looking over and continuing glancing at you while they're playing. You just continue to stay there staring at them?
Yeah, I just glare at them. I just want to
Okay.
glare at them for an uncomfortably long period of time. I don't see reason why not to. Make everybody wonder what the hell I'm doing. So yeah, I just stay there and stare at them for a while.
Okay. And you do that. What do the rest of you do now? You've arrived. You look around. You see people in garish outfits. You see people in very understated outfits. You see gaggles of people grouped together talking quietly. You notice people looking at you and talking, and you notice people ignoring your existence. More people are arriving at each time. You see masks that are animals, masks that are representations of gods. You see masks that are mechanical in construct. You see boats, and you see balloons, and you see all sorts of strange things.
Do we see anything that might look like Harlan?
Yeah, I was gonna say I look for Harlan.
Okay, perception checks. How about that?
Wonderful. Let's use. Double die.
How
6.
with a 6?
16.
16. All right, and,
Actually,
and
wait,
Igor
no,
is
14.
Igor is focusing on food, so he will not see Harlan even if he was standing right in front of him. No, you do not see anyone, but it is difficult. You imagine you might be able to recognize a Harlan in a crowd like this, but I mean, really, it's hard to see. So let's check in with Harlan. What are you doing? Are you ready to escape your room?
Yes, I finished with what I'm working on and finished putting my clothes together, and then I go to the door and I just sigh and say, why have I not learned invisibility yet? And I'm going to attempt to sneak out into the hallway. And
Stealth check.
Yes.
a natural one is not going to be very good stealth. So you, in your overly tight outfit, try to sneak out the door. The door creaks as you open it. You bump into a servant with a plate of food heading towards the ballroom, and the platter falls on the ground. Things shatter, food goes everywhere. It's a clamor that you could almost hear in the ballroom over the music.
I would apologize, but I'm trying to avoid conversation, and I run away.
You hear just a servant just, it's okay, it's fine, my bad. Okay, you make your way into the entranceway outside of the grand ballroom. You see people walking through. A few people look and snicker at you. Yes. Yes, so you make your way into the ballroom now.
I'm gonna oh god, they must be here. Just look around.
Okay. You're a little bit, I mean, you can make a perception check if you'd like. I imagine you're a little too wound up. You might not be able to notice them.
A bit frazzled.
Yes.
And all the people around.
It's getting more and more crowded. A 10. It's not hard. It's not hard to recognize Wendell. Wendell cuts a very specific silhouette. Hal also cuts a very specific
and the mustache
silhouette.
is waxed to perfection and curls.
Yes, it could put an eye out if it was unwound. And Hal is a wolf wearing a wolf mask, so it's really not hard to notice the one person wearing combat boots and a wolf mask as being Hal. They're in the center of the room.
I calculate every possible direction to them, and take the one with the least people in it.
You'll only have to pass 10 people if you head to the right towards the acrobats room, because they're doing a particular routine at the moment that's drawing many people in. So you only have to pass 10 people. But as you get close to your friends, you did not notice with that 10 perception the gloriousness that is the golden purple visage of Mr. Nouveau.
Right.
Mr. Flipcloak! Oh, you look great. Oh, did they shrink your outfit? What happened? And he comes up and gives you a big hug, a kiss on the cheek. Oh, you're copying me, but what did they do to the sizes?
Oh, I'm so busy, couldn't get it resized, you know.
I will have servants make you one right now. Come here. Look at this. How did you let this? I need a new one now. Get it. Sorry about that.
It's not really necessary.
No. I want you to have a glorious time. This is almost a celebration of our partnership. I cannot wait.
I'm so excited.
I can tell. You've been feverishly working on that. And I see, are these your companions you've told me about? Those right over there?
Yes, they are.
Hello there. You see a dark-skinned man with graying temples, hair pulled back, wearing overly luxurious and comfortable purple and gold robes, rings, gold bands around his fingers and his bracelets. He's got earrings and chains. He just looks like he actually kind of has a Marquesian look to him. But he's just happy and smiling and waving for you to come over.
Well, based on the aesthetic, that does sound like someone Harlan would hate, and therefore I believe that might be our host.
And you do see someone standing next to him in the same robes, but much smaller, for at least for his body style, and it looks awfully like a hobgoblin.
Oh God, Harlan. Did you tell me he needed it out?
Is it too late for Bahamut to smite me?
Help me!
Roll a D100.
Oh God.
Bahamut, please smite me. Bahamut obliges.
18.
Oh wow, that was pretty close.
That was pretty close.
You feel the eye of your god upon you and a chuckle.
Oh no. Like, thanks. And I head over with Nezrin.
And then, Mr. Nouveau notices Nezrin coming over.
Mhm.
Oh, Miss Wasserman! I didn't know you were associated with these fine fellows. You already know Mr. Flipcloak, don't you? It's like, oh yes, I'm glad he's okay. I heard there was some trouble at the Skyport. Oh, there's no trouble at all. I've taken care of everything. We're partners now. I've been in conversation with your factor. I'm sure you've heard all about it. We've got some exciting ideas. Yes, I've read over your proposal. I'll be ready to talk to you next week at the earliest, I'm sure. But let's just have a fun time. That's not our business. Oh, I'm sorry. Merchant Guild leader here. I'm sorry. I have to do these sorts of things. Yes. And who might you all be? I know you by description, but
That's not
introduce
true.
yourselves.
Pans to the group, and Igor's behind Wendell with a big platter of food. Just
Greetings.
bliss on his face, lip
Just
smacking behind
just
him.
following and like not paying attention to anything at all. Just following
Greetings.
and eating. Yes. Greetings. I'm Wendell Eustace Abernathy, Lucius Throckwaddle Hossenpfeffer the Fourth of the Havisham Hossenpfeffers.
Oh, the Havisham Hossenpfeffers. Oh, the wine magnate. I heard you had fallen on hard times, but things were turning around.
Yes. Once the family business got out of my older brother's management, things have been on the upswing.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. In my cellar, I have at least 4 bottles of some of the best years your winery has ever produced.
Fantastic.
We might break one out tonight.
Oh, how delightful! I brought some of the more recent vintage as a party gift this evening, so you can say you have 5 now.
I am enthusiastically excited to try it. Is it this year's, or should I let it age a bit more?
I would let that one age a bit more, to be savored on another day.
I am looking forward to it. I believe we've met before, Miss Howell. Is that correct?
Just Hal, no miss.
Yes. I'm sorry. I did not mean any offense.
No, you're good.
And who is this extravagant young
Who?
man here?
This is Igor, my head butler.
At the introduction, Igor pauses like mid-mouthful and just, like big swallow through the...
Like you
the
can
fruit.
see the rough move.
Yeah, the rough move. Yeah.
And
How
please-
do you do?
Enjoy yourself, Mr. Igor.
Well, I intend to.
Please, this is for enjoyment. My servants are working very hard tonight, so please consider this your
Or-
night off. I mean, if you don't mind.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
yes.
it is his
Awesome,
night
Pfeffer.
off.
Oh, you
Excellent.
both are too kind. Your servants have been working awfully hard to keep me fed, and I will make sure to tip them well.
That's not necessary. I pay them very well on my own. You don't need to give them anything. Maybe a couple tips of your own of how you provide service to your master.
I shall educate them on all the things.
A shadow crosses over Wendell's mind, like, no, he doesn't
Brief,
want that.
Flashback of all the horrible things that have gone wrong. Like,
Was there another of your group? No, he was here and then he disappeared. And
He does that. No one can control him or contain him.
That's Mr. Lamont Quinlan.
Yes.
So.
I believe he's the fellow antagonizing your musicians with them.
Oh my lord, that ghastly costume is him. I mean, I knew he had a thing for black, but
You
I mean-
underestimate his thing for black and darkness.
is he is he into mummery or something? Is he like a mime or
Who
performer?
knows? Oh, he might
He's
think
just
himself.
demented.
He's the danger which strikes in the night or some such.
Oh, that's a very, very interesting title.
He's
Kevin
quite
which lurks in the dark. Something of the
yeah,
sort.
terror. That's it. Thank you, Master.
Well, here
Strikes.
in Wildemount, there are a great many things that strike in the dark, and if you spend much time outside, you'll probably find many of them. But well, hopefully, he stays safe then. Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am the Merchant Guild leader here in Port Damali. I am Theodore Hargraves, Elliot Maximilian Anders Nouveau. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Igor
God,
leans
yeah.
into Wendell. He's like,
Yes.
Master, he's got a name nearly as long as you.
Wendell doesn't point out that it's one word longer. Instead, he just pats Igor on like the elbow, like, "Yep."
Yeah.
I don't want to take all of your time. Please have fun. We have representatives from Rexentrum here. We have
Delightful.
some ambassadors from the Kryn dynasty have arrived. You can't miss them. They're very dour folks. The dark-skinned elves. You'll see them ghosting around from time to time. They're very mysterious. I honestly thought your friend was one of them immediately, initially, but
Wouldn't be
they're
the
really
first
quite-
time he's been mistaken for a.
Well, they're quite nice and friendly. I think you'll find that they're very interested in our endeavors. One of the trade factors met with us yesterday, Miss Wasserin, and might be one of our partners going forward. But I said I wouldn't talk about business, so I'm sorry. I'll stop. And there's also a representative from the Marquesian court here this evening, as well as local officials like the Marquise is coming and some of the others. So please just help yourself wander, enjoy. There's a duet singing in one room. We have an acrobat. I think he's on break now. We have some jugglers. They're quite good. Don't let the juggling turn you away. They're quite very good. Knives, fire, that sort of thing.
Ooh.
Yes, and then an exquisite singer. One of the other rooms has no musician accompaniment, just sings, and her voice is absolutely divine. So, yes, be merry, have fun.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Well, I shall endeavour to teach your butlers butlery.
Thank you very much. But have fun first. How about that?
I intend to.
And try and leave some more hors for everyone else, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yes. Well, excuse me. I have many more guests to introduce myself to and to
Of
speak
course.
with. So thank you. He bows deeply. You see a little balding spot on the top of his head that's
Yeah.
starting to form a little
Wendell
bit.
thanks himself. Thanks his benefactor for his full, luscious head of hair.
And he
He'd think a
goes
baby,
off.
but his
You see him, and he moves right to the next group and is just as loud and boisterous with that group as he was with you.
Harlan, you don't have to hide anymore. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. You can come out now.
Oh, well then.
Harlan, why didn't you?
I'm okay. I'll just be here. I'm just going to stand for shadow the entire time.
Well,
Harlan,
would you like a butlery escort to the party?
Yes, that would be very nice, Igor.
Hey,
do you need different clothes, Harlan?
I want to be out of this place.
We'll
Are
see what
you-
we can do.
Are you afraid of crowds, Arlen?
I'm not a fan. Too many-
I did not realize you were so against large gatherings of people. I shall escort you outside for fresh air and bring hors d'oeuvres and snacks to you.
It's not so much large gathering. It's large gatherings that want to talk to me. Ooh.
Yeah, I
Don't
know that
like
feeling.
the attention?
Yes, I'm not a fan.
It strikes Igor dumb for a minute. He's like, oh, okay.
I'm surprised that could happen, I would say, if that was that in character.
In my advice, as someone who was not always in the peak height of society, is to find the room with the least popular entertainment and dwell in a corner there for a while. Kind of
we
pillow's shadow or some such.
If there was somewhere you would like to hide and prowl and peep from, I shall take you there, Arlen, and check up on you as many times as needed. Or see, or see the same corner I think you saw. Let's go that way. And Igor's gonna go like a freaking square plow freight train through the crowd, just beelining for it. Not like aggressive, but just walking. Nothing's gonna get in his way. And it'll take Harlan that way.
I just apologize for anybody like pushes out of the way. Sorry.
Most people, it's not crowded enough where you're bumping into people. You can walk, and then people see you coming, and they sort of like move out. It's a natural crowd progression. They just flow around, and you make it through fine. Where exactly were you leading, Harlan?
To one of the corners of the ballroom, I guess, that's not very occupied. It makes me feel comfortable.
The two corners at the front near the entryway are populated by the servants it's kind of like the station where they help each other prepare as they're moving back through. Then there are two doors along the side where all the people are moving back and forth for the performances. And then at the head of the ballroom is the stage. So if you were to try and sit in the corner of the stage, you pretty much have everyone looking in your direction. And there's also Lamont up there.
We'll just go towards Harlan. Do you want to go towards the one that's near the entrance?
Try the juggler's room.
Okay, you look on the left side of the building. You see. Let's see. What was the on the left side of the building is the I lost my place in my notes. That's wonderful. Okay.
Success.
On the left side, you see one of the rooms is relatively empty. It looks like no one's performing in the first room. And the farther room you see is the acrobat room. And it seems to be very popular right now. They seem to be in the middle of a performance, and there are a lot of people standing around the door. On the right-hand side, you hear music coming from one of the rooms. And then you also see less of a crowd in the juggler's room.
Okay, I guess just whichever room looks least crowded.
It looks like the silent room on the left. The first one on the left has the least people in it because there's no performance going on. There's just a few people and an older woman sitting in a chair.
All right, Igor will do this. He'll go to that room, kind of poke his head around and sing a song, be like, "In here will be safe for you, Arlen." And he shall walk him over to one of the sides and kind of nod to the lady and the other one with his big, plate. Mm-hmm. And holding the platter, he will turn towards Arlen and be like, "I shall come back and check on you every few minutes or so. But in the meantime, help yourself to this here platter." And he hands you the platter that's been mounted with all the different stuff. "I shall fetch one for myself."
Oh, thank you. When you return, can you bring something alcoholic?
I shall bring you whatever alcohol you want. And after all, it's my duty as a butler.
You say that, and a servant stops in front of you with a tray full of flutes of a bubbly liquid.
Oh, yes, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Bring back more. Igor looks to the butler, kind of nods to him, like, "Bring more."
Nods and smiles and just continues on his route.
Arlen, if you are taken care of for the moment, I shall go fetch another plate. Make sure me master is okay, and I shall come and check on you.
I think I should have pre-partied.
What's a pre-party?
Teach him.
I'm just going to take
Igor turns to walk away. Harlan is in the room, sitting next to the older woman, who seems to be just happily enjoying the silence in the room. Let's go check in on Lamont. Lamont, you've been glowering at the band for some time now. It seems like your compatriots have begun to spread out around the room, and the crowd is starting to get a little thicker. The performances are going on, and you have gained a bit of a crowd yourself. People standing in a circle around you, kind of like looking at you, waiting for you to perform or something.
Yes. And again, I have all the sex appeal of Morpheus of the Dreaming and, that guy from Peter Murphy in his prime. You know, this is, and Brandon Lee. You know, if there's a Brandon Lee quality here, and so I'm looking for dangerously beautiful women. I'm looking to identify the.
Oh, you too. Oh.
Any heads of local any heads of local law enforcement. And,
Okay.
Any like big high society types in the
Okay.
room.
Give me a perception check.
I'm clocking them.
Let's see how well you're paying attention.
Okay.
Like, isn't the person who arrested us dangerously beautiful? Just saying.
Was she?
Yeah.
What was her name?
You weren't paying attention. You were too busy glowering at the time.
Oh,
But
right.
you might see her here.
That's why I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for dangerously beautiful women then.
Well,
now I am.
A lot's
One
happened
must
since
always
then.
keep their eyes open for dangerously beautiful women. Now I noticed
Thinking
how.
about other stuff.
Camera pans
check?
over to Igor.
perception check, yes.
Camera pans to Igor, and he's staring at a dangerously beautiful mound of food.
19. Okay, so you do notice several dangerously beautiful people around you. There's actually a very interesting looking dark-skinned elven woman with silvery hair, a very extravagant mask that almost resembles yours. She is tall and thin, black flowing robes with gray accents and silver embroidery. Her mask kind of looks almost like it's got the same features that yours do, but it's more of a raptor type bird look to it. And then she stares at you very intently. And so it's almost like she's stalking you in a way.
And there are others around too, though.
There are a few other dark-skinned elves, kind of like a retinue around her. There's also, I believe, these what was it? I think it was the Zalazo captain.
Right.
That was no. It was the Skyship Captain's Guildmaster, Wanda Villefort. That's one you saw when you landed that you thought was dangerous and interesting.
Right.
She's also there.
Okay. I stared directly at the dark-skinned elf woman, and I encounter her. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
You say you encounter her. How do you go about encountering someone as you've been glowering at a band for an hour?
I turn.
Okay.
I move
Dramatically.
I sort of regard them. I regard them that they suck, and so I turn and move across the room. I know that there's other performances. I move toward the one that is the most proto-industrial dark wave that we can get here inside. I don't quite know where we're going here, but is as much ministry as we can get.
There's none of that here, but maybe the bards playing the dueling lutes, possibly.
Maybe. Well, I was also thinking maybe the solo vocalist might be like something sort of.
Is it currently performing? So there's an empty room at the far end away from you, like a catty corner from where you are right now.
But this woman's not in that room.
No, she's actually standing about 20 feet from you with her retinue kind of like watching you.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to go check that out. I move towards her into her space, and I face her, and I telepathically.
As you come closer, two of her companions step in front of her, like to the side. She's still standing there, but they step and bar your way to get any closer to her. You're about 5 feet away from her.
Okay. I just keep looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to put up with this crap. I had an opening, but I'm not going to do this. I turn, and I move elsewhere.
In your head, you hear, "Going so soon."
And in my head, I return to her telepathically. I'm from out of town.
Do my gods scare you so much?
Your gods?
Guards.
Guards. No. They bore me. I'm moving on.
Your loss.
You seem interesting, but I don't have... I've got a lot to look at. I got a big night tonight.
I'm sure you do, Mr. Quinlan.
Excuse me.
She turns and her retinue begin moving away.
I watch her go, and then I turn, and again, it's the Mask of the Red Death. I move silently through the Bacchanal, and I want to go towards this music, this singer. It intrigues me.
She's not singing.
Damn it. All right, then I move towards that other mysteriously beautiful woman.
Okay, she's not mysterious. You've actually met her.
Oh, yeah, she's not that mysterious, but she's beautiful and maybe dangerous. Maybe dangerously so.
Yes. You see two of them. You do see the Zalazo captain, Varys Stormcloud.
Yes.
Who is a very tall half-elf woman, hair worn in a braid. She is wearing a very simple mask in the shades of blue of the Zalazo, and basically a civilian version of her uniform, so like a representation of it. You also see the skyship captain guildmaster, Wanda Vilfort. She is a 4-foot-tall gnome, but very striking as gnomes go.
Okay, and the Salazos, they are local law enforcement, is that right?
They are the yes, they are the law enforcement for Port Damali. They actually represent the Menagerie Coast Clovis Con. I can't remember the name of it right now. The organization that runs the Menagerie Coast, the cities. Okay. They're the representation. Each city has its own version of this Lazo. But for now, this is her, and she's there. And I can't believe I forgot the name of that organization, but I'll find it in a moment. Go ahead.
I approach her.
Okay. She kind of stares at the getup as you get close.
Good evening.
Do I know you?
No. But you will.
Is that a threat or a promise?
I'm from out of town.
Kind of looks at you and thinks, oh God, you're one of the ones that came on that airship.
I just wanted you to know I'm on your team. I'm here to help. I'm here to see good done.
It's wonderful. Are you going to start by paying off the money you owe for all the broken windows your group caused as you arrived?
No.
Well then, that's the only good I expect you to do at this time. There are a great many people who have been put out by shattered glass, injuries left and right, damage to property and commerce. It's been a headache. The paperwork alone is keeping me up at night.
I appreciate the hardship from our entrance. Mr. Flipcloak is arranging for compensation.
Yes, I've heard some of that.
I'm here in Port Damali to conduct an investigation. I'm not threatening anyone. I'm doing you the courtesy of letting you know that the terror is in town and no longer fucking around.
Am I supposed to be impressed with that particular comment, sir?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, then you have had a suitable reaction from me.
You're not with the criminal element. You're not one of them. You're
and who are they? I mean, if you know who the criminal element are, it would
Well,
behoove you to tell the actual people who arrest criminals.
I thought that was you. I thought you were with the.
Yes. So who are the criminals? If you know who they are, please
That's
tell
why
me.
I'm talking to you right now. That's why you and I are talking. Or really, we're thinking at each other. We're not really talking to each other right now.
She's talking to you. I mean, you're
I'm
thinking at her.
You're talking. I'm not talking. I'm thinking.
Yes.
You're talking to me. I'm not talking to you, but you're talking.
Do you have any facts or names to give me, or are you just wasting my time while I'm trying to relax at a party?
No. Do you have any facts or names to give me?
Yes. 10,000 gold is what you owe for the damages you caused on your arrival. There's your facts. Currently, you're the only criminal I see here.
Point me towards something you need taken care of. Point me towards someone
Just a
whose
moment.
ass needs kicking.
Just a moment.
What?
She waves for a servant to come over, and you see her write something down on a piece of parchment on the tray.
Right.
She hands it up and points at it, and it says, "You owe 10,000
10,000
gold."
gold.
I'll
This-
look at it. And I fold it up neatly and put it into the folds of my robe, of my super colossal mega cloak.
Mm-hmm.
And I just do a 180 and walk the other way and just continue to work the party for a while.
Okay.
Just be seen for a while.
Let's head back to Nezrin and Hal and Wendell. Igor and Harlan have just walked away. You are now left in the center. You see Lamont moving around a bit. He talks to a very darkly dressed group of drow up near the stage, and it seems like it doesn't go very well
That does not
as they
surprise me.
leave. And then he goes over to a very striking woman in blue with a very simple mask, and that doesn't seem to go very well either.
Also unsurprising. I just see this as a trend that's going to continue, and Wendell definitely makes note of where Igor leads Harlan, so that
Okay.
way he's aware for later.
Okay. Simple room, very quiet right now.
So Nezrin has Hal's arm, or vice versa, whatever. I'll see you later, Wendell. And I'm gonna take Nezrin's hand
Yes.
and lead her to the dance floor.
How
Okay.
fun.
Because we've been to many parties before, and Hal might not be the greatest dancer, but she knows Nezrin loves to dance, so she always tries to start a party with that.
And you guys go out, and there is music playing, and there are some couples dancing, more than there were earlier, and you have a nice time dancing.
Cool. And then I
And
think
Nezrin seems very appreciative of
Good.
you letting her dance.
I'm glad. The second dance comes around, and I think that's when Hal's like, "So do we recognize any Clockwork members yet? Do we see anybody?"
You spin her around, like you spin her out, and you spins back in, and she like leans in. And she goes, "I've seen a few here and there, the same ones we've seen before."
Yeah, I noticed one or two.
They've been talking. A couple more spins, a few steps, a dip. She comes back up. Oh, they're talking with the drow right now. And there's a few heading towards. Last I saw, there was a one that I'd recognize heading towards the singer's room.
Okay. Anyone's in particular that we need to?
I mean, they all know who we are.
Yeah.
So, what do you wish to do?
I don't know.
We still haven't accepted their invitation.
We haven't, which is probably why none of them have approached us just yet.
Well, we only just arrived, so I'm not sure that they would be so forward as to walk right up as soon as we arrived.
I mean, that one guy was.
Well, he's an idiot. Merchant guild leader. He's harmless.
Yeah,
if
are
you know
you
how-
going into business with that guy?
Oh, he thinks he can take advantage of us because I'm younger and
What a
I have a good
dumbass.
name.
Clearly doesn't know you.
We're gonna fleece him. And if your pal Harlan works with me, we can probably make a good penny.
I
off
think
of
you.
this.
I think you mean Wendell through Harlan.
Oh, I'd rather.
But yeah,
I know how uncomfortable Wendell makes you, and when I'm speaking with him, I mean,
it's not that he make.
you seem uncomfortable.
I don't like that you two get along because I know Wendell, and if he ever tries anything, I will murder him.
Oh, I'll stab him myself.
I know you will, and that's why I'm okay with it.
He's perfectly harmless. I mean, there's a reason why he's single, and has
Perfectly
been single.
harmless doesn't really apply to
He's
men.
been single for most of his life.
And what does that say about him?
He just hasn't found the right person yet, or is
No, he wants
incapable
me to be
of
his fucking
being the right
mistress.
person for someone else.
Anyway, I know you can take care of yourself, and that is why I'm okay with it. Not that you need me to be okay with it.
Oh, all right.
Because you know what I mean. He just
I do, and I'm really just I'm giving you shit right now because I
know
know
you
it
are.
bothers you.
I like grumble a little bit, and then
Before we start playing dangerous games, can we just enjoy a few more dances?
yes, of course, anything you want,
Thank you.
and that's what
And-
we do.
And you guys continue to dance. So that leads us back to Wendell, who has just been left alone in the center of the room, only to find Igor arrive just as you think about mixing.
Igor,
Hello.
back so soon. I thought you were the shadow Harlan was going to
Oh.
hide behind.
Oh, we found another comfortable room shadow for him
Ah,
to hide in.
I see.
Master, I've got more food. Would you like to try a bit of the crab? Or
No,
some
thank
of
you,
this
Igor.
red
There are
ring-
servants walking everywhere. If I desire something, I will take it from them. It's
Well-
your night off from butlering, specifically. Remember? You are to just enjoy the party, but not to the point in which you get sick.
I will enjoy the party, Master, but I don't know about no sickness. I'm in good health. I will
Don't
leave
eat
you
yourself until you become sick.
then.
Or drink. Yep.
Igor's like, oh yes, and he's gonna propose to you later then, Master.
Maybe you should watch some of the shows. I hear the acrobat that he's quite good.
Oh, I will watch all the shows for
Yes,
you,
you watch
Master.
the show. Have
Very,
fun.
very well. And Igor's gonna turn and head towards the show, and on the way, you'll see him weaving purposely through the groups of people towards the waiters and grabbing more food off it. And he's going for his character flaw, which is excess. So he is grabbing more and more food.
I imagine you actually find yourself following some sometimes because they're moving about the same speed
Yeah,
you are. So
and-
you end up following some around. And
and Igor would be behind a couple of them, keeping even pace, just grabbing stuff off the back of the tray and loading
Yes.
it up on his new tray that he got. And if the waiter ever turned towards him, like, yes, can I help you? Just pat him and be like, hey, I'm good. Help me enough.
all right. I love that image. I love as the music playing, it's just like this, it's just this fun scene of Igor weaving
like
through the party,
the-
just grabbing
It's-
food and
it's like
eating.
Bugs Bunny Disney style, where they do the classical music, and he's like perfectly paced with it. You know. Yeah.
It's been about 2 hours now that you've been doing that. We're going. Okay, it's going to go forward a little bit. Roll me a con save.
Oh, I have the best of con saves.
Wendell is looking to network because
15.
that's
Okay.
what he does.
For your first roll, that is good. You feel like you've got more space in that belly of yours.
Oh.
Time to fill it.
It's time to get into the fluids and the softer puddings and things to fill the larger cavities in the belly.
Okay. Wendell, with that thought in your head, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to not claim
Network.
responsibility for Igor.
Okay,
Right?
that's fair.
And network, and also, aside from networking, because he is a single Pringle, who's just been far too busy trying to rebuild his damn family business for the past several years to even think about anything. But now, he's in a bit of a comfortable spot, and so he's going to be not looking for the most gorgeous women. He's going to be looking for the, like, average, because his good looks are enough to make up for anything. He's going to look for like the average ladies, but the ones who look like they come from really good, wealthy families.
Okay.
Because
All
all
right,
the
well-
attention's going to be on the gorgeous women.
Well,
So he's
it's-
looking for the maybe not as much paid attention to ladies.
There's not. It's
Look at
it's
that
not
lot of
as
money.
easy to kind of discern that because everyone is styled to the best they can
Yes.
at this particular party, and with the masks, it's more difficult to tell the. I mean, you could
It's a
always tell.
challenge, but
You can always tell the knockouts among the men and the women. But
Mhm.
everyone else kind of falls into this median range where you're
Mhm.
just, well, it's a
as long as
masquerade.
they're not the knockouts. He's not aiming for
Okay.
those because
All right. Well, you
they're out
do
of his
notice.
league for one, but two, it's not necessary.
You do notice a medium height human woman with blonde
My
hair.
favorite.
Well, I'm just letting you know there's quite a few races represented in this particular party. I mean, you've seen Dragonborn here.
That's true.
So
yes.
there are she's sitting alone off to the side,
Mhm.
nursing a drink, and is dressed very fine,
Wonderful.
but does not look like she's not playing the part of a knockout at this point. She's
Perfect.
alone.
Then I will grab a
It'll do a
beverage as
mustache
well.
twirl and like.
And he will come over and she's sitting on like a bench or something, I'd imagine.
It's a small table.
Yes.
There's a small centerpiece on it with flowers, a few empty glasses on the outside, like other people had been there, and she's just sitting in a chair, kind of watching the performances of the people around her.
Mm-hmm. Then he will look at the chair that probably doesn't have any glasses in front of it, because it's most likely nearer the crowd and side of the room is where the glasses are, or people have set them down or gotten up, and he will say, "Is this seat taken?"
Oh, no. If you wish, you might sit. The rest of my companions are about the room at this time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You will have a seat. The name's Wendell. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, Jonata. It's a
What a
pleasure is mine.
lovely name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wendell. That's not a Dwendalian name. Are you from Menagerie Coast?
I am not. I am visiting from Iman.
Oh, you've traveled all the way from Amman. How wonderful.
Yes, it's quite beautiful here. I've only been here a few days, but the architecture in the area is stunning.
It's a bit too bright for me. I'm from Rexington, and
Excellent.
we're a bit more conservative compared to the people of the Concord. It's nice to visit, but I don't think I'd enjoy it here.
I feel the same way. While it's magnificent, I don't think I would live here. I come from a smaller province outside of a few days' travel outside of Iman. Haversham, lots of rolling hills, very quaint.
I'm not familiar with Tal'Dorei. It's not within my purview, really. I'm an assistant to the agronomist, Alvinor Rigsby. It's a good job. It lets me do things like this, come out and meet people, but it is what it is.
Indeed. Well, I'm just run a small vineyard, so for business
Oh.
mostly in the Menagerie Coast. but
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Do you like wine?
Oh, well, yes, I do enjoy a glass from time to time. Not too much, of course.
Of course, of course. Well, if you ever need a bottle of Havisham wine, I recommend it highly. My own vineyard.
I will keep that in mind. I don't really go much for the imports. We have very good wines. in the Empire?
I would love to try some of them at some point. I'll have to do so while I'm on the continent to get import fees and all that. Any in particular you recommend?
I'm not so much for the names. Whatever my companions are providing to me.
Of course. Yes, well. And you think, does it look like she's been sitting here a while? Are there a few glasses around her?
There are a few glasses, but not in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
There were several other chairs at the table, and there seemed to be empty glasses there.
All right. And then he'll be like, he'll kind of just take a second, give it a little bit of silence, take a few sips, and people watching is one of my favorite things to do at these kinds of events. Learn so much from watching a crowd.
I agree. I don't enjoy the dancing part of this sort of thing. I watched the juggler. It's very
quite
good.
Yes, with the
Very
fire
good.
and the knives and things.
Well, I believe he uses magic in some of his routines. There's a bit of a delay in the rotation at points. The high point, there's a start. Yeah, it's. I was keeping an eye on it. I think I figured out the trick. The bards in the room next to it they're very good. Kind of raunchy at times, but they're bards.
Yes, but a bard isn't raunchy.
You'd think. I'm waiting for the singer.
I am as well.
I heard she's exquisite. I don't know much about her other than I heard she has a voice that is remarkable.
Well, do you know when she's supposed to go on?
No, I have not heard anything about that.
I see. Well, if I get wind that she'll be performing soon, I shall come find you, let you know.
I would appreciate that. I would.
Of course. Pleasure to meet you. I think I'm quite at the bottom of this glass, but I need to have a seat again, take the weight off the feet. May I return? For your pleasant
please
conversation?
do. I've had a pleasant time speaking with you.
Thank you. And he will be like, aha, from Rexingtram. Good network opportunity, and she was cute, as he just goes off and continues to walk around.
As you walk off, you hear a commotion. Like this, not really a bad. Like when I say commotion, that's a bad connotation. It seems like the performance of the singer is about to start.
Oh.
And with that information, let's go over to Harlan.
Turns on his heel and goes back over. Actually.
Harlan, you've been sitting in the room for a while. The woman who's sitting next to you, her name is Kaliana. She's an older woman. Ancestry is probably may have some elf in her past, but she looks mostly human. Graying hair, almost looks frail, and is wearing very nice, well-cut silver robes. She strikes up a conversation with you as you're sitting there. So why are you hiding from everyone in this quiet room?
Harlan has already had a few drinks. He's he looks over and he says, it's hard to explain. He kind of he grabs like a salt shaker, and he says he just kind of flies it through the air. Says, "Don't you just hate it when everything is going as planned?" And then he kind of puts the salt shaker down and opens it. And then suddenly, there's a factor that you didn't calculate. He grabs just a grain of pepper, and then he places it into the salt shaker, and then just boom! The salt shaker explodes into just salt all over the table.
My!
And it explodes into a situation that you can't possibly calculate.
I did not know pepper was as reactive as that. That's quite a trick you did. Are you one of the performers tonight?
No, not at all. He kind of like stares at the table and all the salt around, and he just says, "It's utter chaos."
Young one, chaos is the spice of the life that we live. If everything was known and expected, where's the fun in that? You grow from the changes, the differences in the plan that you make. I'm sure you'll grow from this one too.
What you say makes no sense to me.
It will one day. It will. All
Why are
you
you in
need,
this room alone?
all you need is time.
He just kind of like looks at her.
I'm sorry. What was your question? I'm a little hard of hearing these days.
Who are you? Why are you here?
Oh, I've already introduced myself. I'm Kalyana. I'm the performer for this room.
You're the singer.
I have been known to sing, yes. People seem to like it, so I continue.
How long have you been singing? For audiences, I suppose.
All my life, I sang on the street when I felt the need. I sang for powerful people. I sang for weddings and funerals and dirges. I sing because it's what I love to do.
Right. Well,
It's allowed me to travel the world.
where have you been? All over?
I've been through the Dundwalian Empire. There's quite a few cities there. I've even sang once in Roshana. She continues on like she expects you to know what that is. Most of the towns in the Concord I've sang at. I've performed in Iman. I've performed in several cities in Marquette. I stayed for a little while at a place called Dallin's Closet and sang there for a little while. That was more of a vacation than anything. I've sang in Valheim and all sorts of places.
Right. Well, I cannot wait to hear this performance. When will you be performing?
Well, if you're so excited to hear, I would start right now. And she pats you on the knee, just a friendly little pat, stands up very slowly. She seems almost, and you notice she has a little walking cane, and she kind of moves over to one side of the room and begins kind of warming up a little bit. Voice is kind of scratchy. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a very good performance as she's warming up. And that's when people, like a rush of people, start coming into the room. It begins to get very crowded. And that's when Wendell and Jonata walk in. And so before she starts singing, Jonata introduces you, Wendell, to the rest of her party.
Oh yes, I would love to meet these people from Rexingtrum.
Wendell, I would like you to meet Crown Prince Callum Dwindle. You see a middle-aged noble, very thinning hair, noticeable pouch, kind of belly, wearing exquisite robes, and a very overtly exquisite gold-rimmed mask. And he just sort of like nods in your direction, like you're beneath him.
Yeah, and he does the deep bow of, oh shit, wasn't expecting to meet royalty. But he keeps his cool, but he does the deep bow.
It's a pleasure. I'm sure. Just kind of dismisses you at that point.
Yes.
Janata goes on. This is Crown Marshal Danville, England. You see an older, refined man in the very military bearing. You know, he's got the barrel chest kind of standing. He's wearing very simple military cut kind of outfit in dark grays and blacks. You see all of them are wearing browns and grays and blacks. It's very dour.
He's wearing a bit of a dour color more, the dark navy with the dark maroon and the silver. So he's like...
And he's like, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure.
And she goes, oh, this is my boss. This is Agranus Elfinor Rigsby. And it's a taller halfling woman, about 3.5 feet tall. She's wearing all sorts of green in a very simple kind of cut, not as extravagant as everyone else's. And she just smiles big under her mask. You can see, because it's just a half mask. It's kind of like a hedgerow growing up out of her face. And she's like, oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. Oh, wonderful, Junata. You didn't tell me you had a male friend coming along. Are you?
Does she seem way too excited?
Oh, yeah, she's very bubbly and happy. Just like, and it's like really excited that Junata's actually talking to someone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this is? He's like, yep, this is the person who never speaks to anyone.
She kind of grabs your hand, like to shake your hand. It's like, oh, are you an Empire man? Are you?
Oh, I'm not from Rexington, though I've heard wonderful things. I'm actually
not everyone
from
can be perfect. It's okay. It's okay. We can always import you if we need to. We kind of do know the prince. It's fine. It's fine. I hear the singer's going to be wonderful. So, yes, just find a spot and let's listen.
Yes, let's.
All right. Hal and Nezrin, you see the dance floor start to clear a bit as everyone seems to be moving over towards the singer.
I don't think we rush over, but we would definitely get close enough to hear.
Okay.
But we don't. I don't think we want to fight the crowd.
Okay. And Lamont, I waited exactly until you got up to say something, so I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
And so you see a lot of people moving towards the empty room. Like most of the crowd in the main hall is moving that direction.
I want to enter the room just as something beautiful is happening.
Okay, so you'll pass by Hal and Nezrin, who are just kind of lingering outside and moving slowly in that direction as they're just kind of watching everyone. You don't see Wendell, and you see Igor chasing after platters of food, kind of like a racetrack kind of thing. He's circling, following behind servants. And then you hear the music. Harlan, you've seen Kaliana, and you've spoken with her, and she seems to be frail, probably well into her 70s or 80s, gnarled hands, kind of a bit, stooped a bit. But as she stands, she puts both hands on her staff. Well, it's more of a walking stick, and she stands up straighter. And when she opens her mouth and begins to sing, it is the most beautifully haunting voice you've probably ever heard. There is no crack in the voice. There is no break. It is a pure note, a pure tone, as she goes through songs with a bit of an elven twist to it. Words you don't understand, but an emotion that you do. It feels like love and loss and the rekindling of energies between people. And it just fills this room. You also notice, as you're sitting there a bit inebriated, that this is the room with the best acoustics. And it is just a powerful, overwhelming experience. Wendell, you get the same feeling. Everyone is enraptured, perfectly silent. There is no accompaniment to her. It's just her voice. And there's almost a harmony that she sings with herself, the way she's performing. And is quite impressive. How you can hear this. It echoes out of the room. It's almost overwhelmingly emotional. And Lamont, you're getting the same thing. It almost breaks that black heart of yours, making you wish that you were no longer a night stalker, but a daywalker.
Sure.
Almost. I said almost.
Yes. I approach as closely as the density of the crowd will allow. And
Not very close.
I stand silently listening to the music, and under my mask, a single tear rolls down my cheek.
Okay. And we step back out of the room while Wendell is hanging out with nobility. True nobility. And Harlan is comfortably listening to something beautiful and probably getting relaxed for the first time this entire night. And Igor is pleasantly full. Speaking of which, roll me another con save.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. You can eat everything
20.
in sight. A natural 24, a 27. You have no problem. This is going to be the best night ever. Tomorrow might be horrible, but tonight will be exquisite.
As long as he doesn't get sick at the party, he can be however
Yes.
ill tomorrow.
And so,
I'm imagining Igor's going to be food hungover later.
Hal, you're standing outside the room, away from the crowd. Nezrin has nestled her head onto your shoulder. And you're both lightly swaying with the music that has silenced everyone. Even the band has stopped playing at this point. It seems to be quite an experience that was planned for. When you hear a voice from behind you, it is a melodic voice. It is a nice voice. There is no malice or anger or threat in it at all. And you turn with Nezrin to look upon a dark-skinned, exotic-looking woman in bright, flowing silks. She wears many rings and golden chains of fine, exquisite make. She smiles. Her mask is a simple one that is stylized in a fashion that reminds you somewhat of bits of a gear.
Okay.
And her long, dark hair flowing over her shoulders. And she says, perhaps it's time for you to make your decision, Miss Wasserin and Howl. We are ready for you to join our group. And we have exciting plans for your friends as well, if they're willing to join.
Right.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I am Yadira Saladin. I'm part of the Marquesian delegation. Actually, I am the Marquesian delegation.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. I'm Hal.
Yes.
But you knew that.
Yes, it did. Your group was quite instrumental in helping us remove a thorn from our side. And no offense, Miss Wasserin, but your parents were a threat to everyone. It's fine. They've given us a bad name, and I think we've started off on the wrong foot. You have some expectations and images of our organization that I think are incorrect at the least. Perhaps tonight, might we gather in one of the rooms and speak? No, we're separate here, still in the ballroom, but we'd like to speak with you. And some of the other representatives want to speak as well.
Are you looking for just us or group in total?
Well, you're all most effective as an organization. I'm not sure about the name you've chosen, but it seems to be quite fitting for your organization, so...
It works for us.
And if you're not willing to speak with us, that's fine. Our invitation is still open. There's no threat here at all.
Can I insight check her?
Yes, please do.
Not super insightful. Did it go? 2 16s. 16.
16. With a 16, her body language and her vocal tones seem to be completely and utterly honest. Much to your chagrin.
Interesting.
Weariness.
Nezrin looks at her and says, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I have had no contact with Marquette, but as a fledgling import-export business, I was hoping to get some contacts, and, well, I mean, we're open to conversation, aren't we, Hal?
I mean, I can talk to my group, but I can't promise anything, and I can't promise anything from the two of us. So
I don't ask for promises. I only ask for an opportunity.
I'll talk to him.
She smiles large. It's a sparkling smile, almost a disarming smile. Like, you love Nezrin, but this is a very attractive woman, and she's smiling in a way that she shouldn't be smiling at you.
Oh, okay.
And Nezrin kind of like, you could feel her kind of grip your arm a little tighter.
Yeah, I think Hal's face is more like incredulous than anything else. Like,
Behind
what
a
the
mask.
Yeah. The bottom part of her face is like,
Mhm.
what the fuck?
Well then, once the singer's done, we'll gather in that room. I believe most of your group is already there. See, that's why it's hard to say group as in group, because when your group is group and the group is in the, I get confused when I say these things.
Yes.
It's
It's kind of the intent.
oh, I never thought of that. Wonderful. Well, we'll see you after this beautiful performance is over. How about that?
Sure.
And she strolls over towards the singer's room, leaving you and Nezrin standing almost alone among the dance floor. And that's where we ended for tonight. Everyone off in their own directions, meeting and greeting, or eating, as it were, for some. We'll go around, talk to everyone, tell us who we played tonight and where we can find you and what you thought about this evening, high points and whatnot. Let's start with that which stalks the knight himself, Lamont Quinlan, in the H.R. Geiger-inspired outfit of the century.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Grammys this year. Oh, that was last night. You were there, right? You know, they did the twirl and all that.
It was.
Okay. Clothing cam.
I smelled of brimstone. My costume was made of meat. I swept all the categories.
But there was a bit of a problem because Gaga was wearing the exact same thing. It was really a big controversy.
There was a flamingo dress. I was dressed as a flamingo briefly. Yes, it's great. As on the nose as it gets. We're if you could smash together the cell and the crow and all of it, give me the whole thing. I want to eat all of that grimdark 90s bullshit. Give me all of it, and wash it down with an electronic gaming monthly. I want the whole thing. Yes, hi, I'm producer Trev. I'm getting carried away. It's Monday. I'll be back tomorrow playing some D&D with these wonderful people, and we bumped Aliens. We bumped it to the 27th. We've got some stuff to do. We want it to be great. We bumped it, but I'm very glad to be here. This was awesome, and just it's really coming together. Frank, you're killing it. I loved everybody. That's all I got. I love it when a session is over and Lindy lets go of that breath she's been holding for 2 hours. He goes, oh my God. It's so great. It's so great. She's still there. It just the instant it's over. All right. I love it every time. It never gets old. It's great. Thank you, Lindy, for this. And I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Let's go over to Harlan Flipcloak. How did things go tonight?
Oh, very well. Very well. Yes. I'm D20 Coup de Grace. You can find me playing here Mondays, Tuesdays, and this Saturday with some aliens. It'll be fun. Let's see. I really like when Lamont went prowling. That was funny. Igor, always fun watching you overindulge and somehow just keep being able to do that. It's just such a great game, and thanks, man, and thanks everyone.
Thank you. Let's go over to Igor, since we just mentioned the man who consumed the entire party himself.
Not yet. He's working on that. That'll be in the next episode when the party realizes they don't have enough food to keep up with the demand. And they don't understand why. They planned for twice the amount of people that showed up, but somehow they're running low. Anyways, yeah, I'm Shiny Pilot 06 playing Igor. He has an eating habit. He has a addiction, negative flaw, and I like exploiting that mostly for food. So yeah, anyways, the game was great. It was good to get to play with everybody and see all the things. I don't trust that woman at the end at all that Hal was having to deal with. I love Lamont's skulking around and being the terror which strikes the party. And I liked Wendell going after the lady, trying to schmooze and have fun. And then he gets introduced to royalty, starts panicking a little bit. Harlan hiding in the shadow of Igor. And the salt description he did was fantastic. And so that was good. And of course, I liked Igor being a goofball, just having fun. And thank you, DM, for humoring me on the wonderful stuff that he does and being a good DM. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah, those were all great moments. Some of my favorite ones from tonight. Well, Hal, we ended with you there last scene. Kind of caught you off guard there. Looked a little uncomfortable with the whole clockwork mask thing.
Yeah, I think Hal has been uncomfortable with the whole clockwork thing that they've been doing in their downtime, and now it's coming back to bite her, and she doesn't like it. Hi, my name's Nagatosaurus. I play Hal the Shifter Fighter / Paladin. Tomorrow I'll be here again playing Generic, the Bubblegum Bard. And then on the occasional Saturday, I play Violet, the synthetic human who's going through some shit in our Aliens game. I have two favorite parts. My first favorite part was Lamont's entrance. I just think it's hilarious that he's the terror which stalks the night. And normally when you stalk something, you're stealthy. And that entrance was anything but. Like, I love it. And then my second favorite part was, I think this is the first time we've really seen Harlan like freak out from like his antisocialness, and I loved it. I thought it was perfect. It cracked me up, and I'm ready for next week. Bring it on.
Awesome. Before I pass it over to Laugh Love Lindy, our channel master, I'll just go ahead and call myself out here. I'm at Deception Check. I'm the DM here. I get to kind of try and corral these guys through the game, which is fun, especially nights like this when everyone's going in different directions and it's like trying to get little scenes with all of them. It's a lot of fun to see what everyone's doing and combine them together. You can find me here Mondays normally for this madness. Tuesdays I am playing Normal, the rock god flautist. Yes, rock god flautist elf. That's going to be fun. I'm sure he's going to die soon. It's Ravenloft. It'll happen. And then also on the occasional Saturday, I am Hank Granger in our Aliens campaign, and that is just an exquisite, amazing game run by producer Trav. Cannot wait. Something new is coming. I'm not sure when it's going to be announced. We have several new things coming here and there, but
yes,
they'll be announced
confirm
one
some
day.
Things and announce them tomorrow.
Yes, they'll be announced when they're confirmed, and we'll know, and then we'll say things, and it'll be fun. But one way or another, there's things coming, and it'll be great. Favorite parts tonight, I loved the salt and pepper explosion explanation. Spectacular. I liked the dancing with Howl and Nezrin. Everything about Lamont tonight I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I like the look. I have the perfect image of his costume, and it is everything I wanted it to be and more. And then Igor and Wendell are just great, and I'm glad that I found a not super hot person for Wendell to like. So that's good. Jonata's awesome. So yeah, we'll pass that on to Wendell, Eustace, Abernathy, Lucius, Throckwaddle, Hassenpfeffer the Fourth of the Havisham Hassenpfeffers.
Thank you. Yes, that is I, magnificent mustache man. Gosh, yes, Wendell. There's certain things in his life that he just realizes, and he knows he's never gonna get the bombshell lady, but that's okay, cause he doesn't need the bombshell lady. Instead, he knows what he's looking for. So, can't wait to see how next week at the party goes with the Clockwork Council meeting. And, Wendell, I gotta get Wendell out on the dance floor. He's gotta bust some moves. It's been forever since he's had a formal ball. So, but not with Janata, because she apparently doesn't like to dance, and he was just about to invite her to dance, so he's real glad she said she didn't like that when she did. But yeah, Harlan with the salt and pepper. Loved that moment. And Lamont's grand entrance, and Hal agreeing to behave. Those were, like, I promise I'll be good. Like, I won't start any violence. And just Igor trying to not listen to Wendell as he's like, just don't make yourself sick. And he's like, oh, no, just get over here. Like, there's just so many good little moments between everyone tonight. I just loved it. Tomorrow is going to be completely different from tonight, because tomorrow is Mists of Ravenloft, and the group's going into a dungeon. Not just any dungeon, a 2nd edition converted to 5e dungeon. So, what's going to happen? Not great things, but hopefully not too many terrible things either. There's going to be a lot of decisions like they ended on last week. Do you go left or right? Because there's 2e dungeons are fun like that. They're not like, do you go down the red winding stairwell or the blue glowing hallway? They're like, nah, y'all in a fucking cave. Do you go right or left? And you're like, whew, man, this is gonna be rough if they go this direction, but who knows? So, we'll see how they do, because, I made a lot of noises, as Igor could testify when I was reading through the module there. I was like, yeah, what? So, I won't make those noises when I'm GMing them, because I've already gotten it out of my system. But if you want to hear them make maybe some noises like that, tune in tomorrow for Mists of Ravenloft. And of course, Aliens on the 27th. We are very excited about that. And yeah, tomorrow might be some more fun announcements about things that are coming up potentially very soon. Thank you all so much for hanging out, and for you guys for playing, and hopefully we will see you all next week for a terrible Clockwork Council meeting, because those people like the evil orb of evil, and it's fine. Have fun, play games. We'll see you next time.